guys, so today is the big day, the day I've been waiting for a long time. Today is the day we're gonna get the Crown Vic dyno tested and I was gonna say tuned, but no, because it already has a tune. We're gonna get a dyno tested to find out exactly what the horsepower numbers are on this. I've been waiting about 2 weeks. I had a scheduled appointment, but this is when they had an opening, so that's great. It's funny, I've had one other car put on a dyno, but it was a bone stock Mercedes C63, so like it really didn't matter because you know it's gonna be okay. It's bone stock. This is the first car I've put on a dyno that has like all the mods and tunes and stuff, and it makes me a little bit nervous. I know it's gonna be fine. Why? Because I put this on the road and I rip on it all the time, and it's always been fine. But it's just funny because since it's gonna be on a rack on a machine, and you know that they're gonna get like every ounce out of it, it makes me a little bit more like, it's gonna be okay, you know? Anyways, so yeah, I put a Reddit post yesterday showing the car and the list of mods that it should have. I say should, but there's a reason for that. I'll get to it later. And yeah, in theory, people are saying that it should be doing about anywhere. I said Price is Right rules, so people didn't go crazy, you know what I mean? So there's a theory, the going average is about 340 horsepower, bones, like just on the Supercharger, so about 340 give or take, maybe about 375. Some people said 401, 405 on the bottle. So that's kind of that's the prevailing theory right now. I think that's the right ballpark. Being that I've driven the car, it's really difficult to use the old butt dyno on this one simply because the back tires, they have good life, they don't hold up. What I mean by that is, like, if I gun it, it just burns the back tires out. They just start to spin, and then it's fun, but you don't necessarily get to feel like all the power. So I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna be conservative because better be low than high. I'm gonna guess on Supercharged with the tune that it has, which isn't anything too aggressive. It's supposed to have Mustang cams, which is a little bit more low-y than the Crown Vic cams. I'll go over all that supposed to stuff in a minute. I'm gonna say Supercharged power is gonna be 350. Because why would you do all this work and not get 350 at the wheel? It just seems insane. Whatever. I'm gonna say 350 on the wheel with just the Supercharger, and then with the Nitrous kit, I'm gonna say it's not a massive shot. I think it's probably like a 50, 75 shot. It wakes up the car really nice, but I'm gonna go conservative and say it's a 50 shot. So that's gonna put us at 400. If it gets more than 400 to the wheel, I will be shocked. That being said, I'm telling you, man, that Mercedes I had, 2011 C63, 6.2 liter V8 NA, that thing made 450 horsepower. And it had slightly better tires, but not by much. And those tires, it would hook up and it would run, you know? So it makes me think that this has to have that power. Dare I say slightly more? Because, I mean, I don't know, so right now it didn't peel out, which is good, and feeling the acceleration I felt is a little slower than the Benz, but this also probably weighs 600 more pounds, you know what I mean? So it's a give and take everywhere. I'm locking it in. Okay, 340 NA, 400 on the bottle. Anything more than that and I might be like, whoa, that might be too much for this little motor. Anyways, we're almost at the shop, so we'll strap it in. I'll film the whole thing. This guy usually has cool stuff like Supras and GTRs and Subarus. He's a Subaru guy. So I'll show you guys some of that, and then we'll see what it does, man. See what it makes. Finally get an answer to the unanswered questions of life. See you in a minute. It's here. Beautiful little Crown Vic. Here's the stuff that they typically have. Cool little Nismo GTR. Whether it's a Nismo or not, I don't know. Who does? A lot of Subarus, a lot of busted Subarus. It seems to be like there's a trend with Subarus and blowing up. Who would have guessed? This hat looks huge, but I promise you it's not. gonna make a real loud, ugly noise. Is this that winning Supra? That's awesome, man. This thing, they did like a hill climb and came in, I think first it was. Yeah, global time attack. Super dope. So not only does it look at its actual form, this stuff was used to race, man. Aero actually mattered. Instead of the typical car you see on the highway. Okay. On the third one, can you do two NA? I mean, just on the Supercharger. The third one, do the Nitrous. The bottle's right behind you. I can open it for you. You can open it. Cool, man. Stupid car has so many little things about it, you know? Second gear. So just loading up and then...
No, the tire spun on the dyno.
Yeah. Oh, no shit. Man, when I gun it, it just sits and does this, you know? So this is the dyno sheet from the first pull. Now the issue is that the car downshifted to second gear. Whenever you're doing a dyno test, you want to have 1-to-1 gear ratio, at least as close as you can to that. For the Crown Vic, 1-to-1 gear ratio is third gear. So we're trying to stay in third gear. But when he floored it, it downshifted to second. And so you can actually see when the car downshifted, that first spike in power. Now you'll see the second spike in power a little further down the line where it drops off. It drops off because the wheels spun. So it peeled out on the dyno, which of course decreases horsepower, at least the reading. Then you get that spike when it caught back up. So that's that spike. Now this dyno sheet, like I mentioned, it did downshift, so technically it's inaccurate because it's second gear versus third gear. But this has numbers I like a lot. This has numbers that I can believe, like, hey, that's what the car feels like it actually has. So on this dyno sheet, it shows max power at 394, max torque at 491, and that's how I know it's very likely, obviously inaccurate. But like I mentioned, you'll see the other runs that we do. We do about 4 or 5 other runs. The other ones have a lot more consistent of a horsepower graph. But once again, you'll see why I think this is the more accurate numbers compared to the other ones. But I mean, technically it's not, because once again it downshifted. But yeah, the car feels like it makes about 390 horse. That's what the good old butt dyno, as they say. It also feels it makes, yeah, probably not 490 torque. I would say something like 410 torque, you know. Anyways, let me show you the next 2 runs and you can see the dyno numbers that I was being shown for my car, which let's just get to it. Yeah, downshift it again. I don't know if there's any way to really get around that, you know what I mean? Kind of tough. Sounded much happier. Uh, 248, 307. 248 horsepower, 307 torque. Okay, so on this dyno run, we had a pretty good run. We didn't have any tire slippage, which is nice. They sprayed some liquid traction, whatever. But yeah, this thing made 248 horsepower and 307 torque. So a lot more, I think, reasonable compared to the last one that I showed, not by much. I'm going to show you one that's next of us using nitrous, and you can see how it actually breaks up. You can see it because, well, I'll show you the clip, and then I'll show you the dyno sheet as well. So I've come to realize that the nitrous isn't making it into the manifold. It's getting the additional fuel because it's a wet system, but it's not actually getting the nitrous. So I got a bit of work to do on that. But I'll show you the clip, and then I'll show you the dyno sheet. It's cool how a dyno can show you this kind of stuff, you know? But let's check it out real fast. If you want to do a nitrous one, we can, but if it breaks up, just let off. You want me to turn it back on? Cool. You know, I never really see it, only because there's not much humidity. But I mean, just. Should be good now? Yeah, okay. That's what I do. And then what are, yeah, turn on, we'll kick nitrous and extra fuel. What RPM do you want to do? What do you like 25 to 3. Oh, let's do like, yeah, nitrous, huh? Okay, 3. Let's do 3, 3.5. A little more conservative, just feel on the safe side. Thanks, brother. It's funny because if it's on the highway, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh, it's fine. But because it's on a dyno, I'm like, oh. So as you can hear in that last clip, when he activated the nitrous, we got the additional fuel flowing through the system, but the nitrous never showed up, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of a little older nitrous kit, so I'm going to have to replace some parts. But we got 222 horsepower. It's really cool because you can actually see that spike, and then the drop in power and torque just drops off. I mean, damn, it goes down to 100 horsepower, probably like 80 horsepower at the bottom. But that's because the engine's getting flooded out with just too much fuel, not enough air, not enough nitrous, and that's clearly evident by that crazy drop off we have. So after that one, we tried one more nitrous one, but we got pretty much the same results. Nothing obtainable to actually say nitrous is flowing. But all we know for sure is on the Supercharger, we're getting anywhere from 230 to 260, which is, yeah, I can live with 260. The first pull we did, I walked over to the computer and it said 211. And I was like, there's no way. Well, it was actually the second one because the first one had this tire slippage and all that stuff. But yeah, it said 211 and it stayed pretty low for a while. Now that I'm looking at the dyno sheets, some of them did hit 260, which I can live with 260. That sounds about, ballpark. I still think it makes way more, but at least it's not 211, you know, because I was floored at the 211. But let's show you the last clip. Yeah, second and third, they both break up when you hit the switch.
And then no nitrous.
It's smooth.
They were.
Yeah, like they should be. Interesting. So yeah, I think it's not delivering nitrous. It's getting the extra fuel shot in, but it's not actually getting the nitrous. That's what it seems like.
When was the last time you filled it?
I bought it filled a month ago. I've used it 4 times, little hits here and there, nothing nuts.
What size are the shots?
That's a great question. I have no idea. As I bought it, which is like, I would assume with what it has, it would only be a 25, 50 shot, maybe 75, because 100 would be asking a lot, you know, in my opinion.
I don't think they would waste that much water there.
But it does have a small leak. But But the thing is, I know about the leak, so I would turn it off. So turning it off would save it in theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a tough one.
Is your email?
Just got back from the dyno. I don't know, I'm confused to an extent. We had an issue with the nitrous, which I understand. I had that, like, we discussed a bunch of cool stuff. Like, these guys are really knowledgeable. The nitrous isn't making it to the freaking intake, or it's not making it to the motor, because when we did a nitrous hit, we did 2, or maybe even, I think we did 2 nitrous hits. Both times, you can see that the engine breaks up. It's not a big deal. So, what did the motor do? I keep wanting to say NA, but just on a supercharger without nitrous. Okay, here I go, sorry. I mean, place your bets. What is the car gonna do on just the supercharger, you know? I looked it up, 1-to-1 gear ratio's 3rd gear. So we were trying to do 3rd gear pulls. It's a little more tough because if you floor it in 3rd, the car shifts to 1st. You know, I mean, shifts to 2nd. So that was a little bit of something we had to deal with. Not a big deal. Let me do one more pull, and then we'll discuss what the actual numbers came out with. This is 1st gear. I had to get off the shift. 70. I mean, 17 miles an hour. But obviously the wheels spin a lot. It lights them up, they're not hooking, they're spinning. It's a great car. My butt dyno tells me. I don't even want to say the numbers, they're that shameful. That shameful. My butt, I'm telling you, I've had a Corvette C6, I had an AMG C63 with a V8, 450 horsepower, not crazy, but you know, both of those are about 400. This thing feels to be in the ballpark. It feels like I'm in the same ballpark speed-wise, the way it lights the tires up. Should be about that 400s at the crank, you know what I mean? The dyno numbers, I'll put them up on screen because he's emailing them to me right now. They're showing like, I think one of them was like 211 horsepower, 211 horsepower. So apparently like 211 horsepower is like pretty stout. But the highest we saw was like 400 horsepower, but the car downshifted from 3rd to 2nd, so I know that throws off the numbers. And they said that it slipped, so they were spraying some like stuff on the tires to help out. But if it slips, why would that send the horsepower numbers up? I don't know. But one more time, just for the giggles. Anyways, the point still stands that it's a fat chance in hell that this is 200 horsepower. My wife's Honda makes 200 horsepower. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I mean, torque was maybe 300, 311. I saw 345 might have been the absolute peak. But I mean, I'll be damned if somebody spent, okay, rods and pistons, who knows, right? Until you open the block, who knows? But I can see a freaking supercharger, and I looked them up, $7,000 to $8,000, you know, on this car. So I'd be damned if someone spent that much on a supercharger. They got it tuned. It is tuned, so that's even more money. Installed. They went through all the spark plugs. It connects to the spark plug. Those are all upgraded. The fuel injectors are upgraded. The throttle body's ported. I can see the throttle body. It's ported. He allegedly, which this is the alleged stuff, ported heads, Mustang cams. It does have a different sound compared to Crown Vic, so I do believe it does have single overhead cam Mustang cams, which is supposed to be a little more aggressive compared to what this has. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Marauder might have that, or maybe they're dual overhead, whatever. All that work to put down 211 to 250 horsepower is insane. I don't know. I'm not saying I need a hub dyno, because I don't. I'll put the graph up and we can have some discussion over that to see what it says and where we're at. It's a dyno that, it's not a brand new dyno, they've used it, so that's good. That means they have baselines, they know that what it actually truly represents. Like if it was a dyno they installed yesterday, I'm like, maybe they gotta do some calibrations. But like, no, it's been there, so like, I have to believe the numbers, and I do believe the numbers. But I don't want to. So anyways, we'll put a pin in it right there. We'll see where we're all at. But yeah, brave new world. Without a doubt, though, I do have to go through the nitrous system because yeah, nitrous was not being delivered. So yeah, other than that, there we are. Hey guys, just before we go, I was looking through the dyno sheets that he sent over. I believe, for my ego's sake, that this is the dyno sheet that is the most accurate, the most correct. It's smooth, the way that you'd expect to see a power curve. No slippage, and it's in, I want to say third gear, but this says 262 horsepower with 316 foot-pounds. That is something I can say, hey, you know what? I think that's probably correct. Which is still unfathomable to me that all that money that some guy dumped into this thing for 262 wheel. But I mean, early 2000s car. It's an 01. I guess that's probably a lot for its day. I mean, what was the Mustang making at the time? Not much more. So anyways, this is the one I'm probably going to stick with. This is the one I'm going to say is most accurate. I do have a second dyno day set up just to test another dyno across town, just to see if I can get similar numbers. But yeah, I'm going to say this is probably the correct one. 262 horsepower with about 317 torque. But yeah, that's all of it, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'll post the next one, and I might actually make the next dyno day a Subaru dyno day. I may end up just taking that one instead. We'll find out. To be continued. Have a good one.